What's up, loyal Blakefield? My name is Marlo Lacson, and welcome to another episode of Blakefield Insider. The world is changing quickly, so we're doing a bit of a different type of episode today, but some things never change. And one of those things is Loyola's Annual Billy Korrow Run, which is happening this weekend. Here to tell us about the decades-old tradition is Mr. William Korrow. Hey, Mr. Korrow, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well, Marlo, and how about you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Okay, now we have a few questions for you about this year's Billy Korrow Run. First off, this is the 27th annual Billy Korrow Run, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about how this tradition began?
Yes, the run itself started in 1994, a year after my son had died, and a group of alum that I had taught or coached, and some friends came up to me and asked if they could start an event to be in memory of my son Billy, and I certainly agreed. I had no objections to it, and they chose a running event because I'm an avid runner.
Of course. And speaking of Billy, what has this annual event meant to you and your family as a tribute to him?
Well, after the tragedy, the loss of Billy, you wondered, well, can any good come out of his short life that he had? And I think we all wonder, what good as we get towards the end of our lives, we have done. And so this event, this get together has provided this scholarship for a boy to come to Loyola and get a Loyola education. And I've been there quite a while, and I just enjoy that the school is willing to support this event for his scholarship.
And I think Billy would be overjoyed to know that his legacy is being carried on by the run every year.
I think that sometimes he's up there laughing when it's raining, or last year I know he had a joy.
One more, you are completing your 50th and final year at Loyola, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. 50 wonderful years.
Wow, it's longer than I've been alive. What have some highlights been from your career?
Well, over the 50 years, it's kind of hard, I think, to kind of zero in on one or two is all I'll mention. I'll never forget that. First off, when I came to Loyola, I did not know where it was. I had attended Towson University, but had never come to Charles Street. I lived in Hamilton and went back there every day. But my first year teacher, and for the first 2 weeks of class, I had no books. I was teaching Greek and Roman history. And so kind of like I was just put in there to the wolves to see how I would do. And I survived. I think part of that survival was the fact that I was coaching, assisting out with football at the time, with the varsity football with Mr. Byrne and Mr. Stewart. And a number of the boys that I had in class were also football players. So they didn't want to mess up in class, and so it made it a little bit easier on me. Okay. Then after a number of years of teaching history, I moved over into physical education, and got to work with Jerry Savage for a long time. And I was coaching sports year round. I love the physical fitness, and so it was a natural thing for me to kind of go into. Went back to school, got certified to teach physical education in the secondary schools. Okay, so and the number of people that I've met over the years, friendships that I've made, they've all been tremendous things for me over my years.
Awesome.
So
50 years. I call that a success.
50 years. Uh, And I look
Oh,
at it as 50 years. I think it's amazing.
oh yeah. And our last question today, what do you want to say to our community as the virtual opportunity to support the run approaches this weekend?
Well, of course, this isn't how I would have planned my last year to be and the run to be this year. But, we got to be open to growth. And I'm sure all the students are finding that out now with their distance learning. Okay. And I look at the run every year when it comes around to a fun family event for a little bit of morning exercise. And of course, the byproduct of that exercise happens to be that money is raised for the Billy Korrow Scholarship, and it helps some young man who is interested in receiving a loyal education. So I really enjoy the day. It's kind of bittersweet because it reminds me so much that Billy's not here to enjoy be a part of something that he loves so much. So I want to thank all of you that have joined us virtually for the run this year, and hopefully next year we will be back on the road again.
Absolutely. And we could all use a little bit of exercise at this time.
That is most important. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Korrow. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, sounds good. I'm looking forward to see those pictures and videos on the website.
Of course. All right. Have a good one. That's it for today's episode of Blakefield Insider. More info on the Billy Korrow Run can be found on loyalablakefield.org/Billy-Korrow-Run. And as always, roll Dons roll.